Or if no. This is Gabriel with Casual Bricks, and today I'm here in Tyson's Corner, about a mile down from the Tyson's Corner Mall where my Lego store is, and I'm here to meet with the financial advisor to discuss Lego investing. I know there's no shortage of Lego videos that talk about Lego investing, tips, and whether or not you should, but I haven't seen too many that actually have a financial advisor or a professional that works in financial services discussing the subject. So stick around and continue to watch as we discuss Lego investing, traditional investments, and what you should think about before investing your money. As always, be sure to like and subscribe. Okay, I'm here with John. John, why don't you go ahead and tell us about yourself?
Hi, I'm John Langford. I live in Falls Church, Virginia. I've known Gabriel for about going on 20 years now, and I work as a financial advisor out here in Tyson's Corner, Virginia.
Right. And for full disclosure, he is my financial advisor, or my wealth advisor. He manages my investment portfolio, and as well as my daughter's 529, so obviously I implicitly trust him. So just know in this video, we're not saying anything that we ourselves don't follow. Absolutely. And just for full disclosure, obviously, to say what our relationship is beyond college friends here. So, having said that, let's go ahead and get into this interview here, or this discussion, excuse me. So, if you had $1,000 to invest, what would be better, a physical commodity like Lego or a security such as stocks, bonds, mutual funds?
If somebody came up to me and did not already have some sort of portfolio put together for their future, my true belief would be it's better to start with stocks or bonds. I would say the easy way to go would be an index fund if you wanted something that's predictable, has some sort of long-term track record of sustained success. That would be a great way to start. If somebody already had a long-term portfolio put together and said, hey, all my goals are taken care of if I never put another dime into the market, what can I do with this $1,000? I love Legos. I love whatever hobby you have. Hey, have at it.
Okay, all right. So once your financial goals are met, you have $1,000 to play with.
That is, you want the foundation of having your financial goals 100% covered before I would be comfortable saying, hey, if we have a hobby to dabble into or some sort of offshoot satellite investment, I would want your needs taken care of with stocks, mutual funds, sort of your traditional investment portfolio first.
Okay, and a satellite investment, what is?
I would say your core investments are your stocks and bonds and mutual funds.
Okay.
A diversified portfolio, if you will. And then your satellite investments would be considered anything that's sort of outside of the core of a portfolio.
Okay.
The non-traditional funds.
And I guess, what is the risk investing in collectibles, such as Lego, art, bourbon?
Yeah. Yep. I think the biggest risk is the unknown, and not knowing 10, 20, 30 years from now what is going to come of this particular set or this particular bottle, whatever the hobby is, Legos. There's more of a lack of track record where you can look back and say, okay, on this balance sheet, on these earnings reports, these executives who are managing these companies, I can look at this and say, hey, there's a sustained track record of success. I feel reasonably confident I can invest in this company or this fund, and know probably a good likelihood this money will go up over time. With collectibles, the uncertainty is greater. It may work out great, but if I'm doing a financial plan for a client, I don't know the level of confidence I would have that a collectible would have a high likelihood of success.
Okay. Well, as you know, with getting prepared for this video, that there's a lot out there talking about the success rate of trading investing in Lego, to include like legitimate articles by Forbes and Wall Street Journal talking about the massive returns on these.
Yep.
And now, in my opinion, that's more a rare. Well, I won't say it just takes more effort to hit that. That's not
the lower probability outcome.
Okay.
Of is probably how I'd word it, and yeah, I think that one of the articles that I was reading before said Legos have a 10 to 11% annual rate of return, better than gold, stocks, and bonds. And I was like, let's see what the truthfulness of that is. And I look back, I'm like, well, the S&P 500 has gotten 10% on average since its history over the last 70 years. And you don't have the storage costs. You don't have the shipping costs or all the time spent versus if you had said, hey, I want to buy the S&P 500 index. Click a button, your money's invested, and you can go to bed and forget about it. So that's where we go back where if it's a hobby you enjoy and have fun doing, and it could go up over time, I think the fun factor is the greatest driver there versus, hey, I want to do this because, or have this hobby because it can get me to financial freedom down the road. I'm less likely to be on board with that.
And I guess this kind of goes into one of the other questions. How time consuming is it to trade or invest in a collectible? You already mentioned the storing it, shipping. For doing it online, I guess you got to post it, take pictures, make it look pretty.
It may take a month to sell, so you're going every night 4 times a day refreshing to see if you have any activity on it. I know some people may have more success with it than others, but I think your mileage would vary with the time needed to invest here. I guess it depends on if you view it as a hobby where I want to make a few bucks and just have fun with it. What doesn't need to be that time consuming? But if it's something where you're like, this guy has made a ton of money investing in Legos, I want to be like this guy. It may take a lot more time than if it was just simply a hobby. So I'm thinking I'm a big bourbon collector, and in my mind, I do it because it's fun. I enjoy whiskey, and I like collecting higher valued bottles. I don't view it as the answer to my future financial goals. The first, number one goal of it is the fun factor. I enjoy doing it. If a bottle I have happens to grow over time, great. That's a great side effect of that hobby. But I don't want to view it as, well, if this bottle goes down over time, I've wasted my time. I want to have fun with it before anything else.
Yeah. And here in the Northern Virginia area, obviously you're an advisor in this area. There's 6 Lego stores within 100 miles of each other. We have one right down the road here at Tyson's, one at Potomac Mills, and another up in Crystal City.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the Maryland side. Not even New York has such a concentration of Lego stores. Just if you could enlighten us on why that is.
Well, my opinion, and not being an expert in the Lego field, just generally being from Northern Virginia for 25 years, I think a lot of it has to do with the amount of money that's in the area. There is a lot of wealth, and with a lot of adults having Legos as a hobby, well, it's a little more costly than some hobbies out there. So I think Lego is smart with, hey, we need to capture some of this and answer some of the demand that there is with the enthusiasts.
Yeah, that's a good point. And another thing I saw was, aside from the wealth that's in this area, the education. People attribute them to people that are into science and building and engineering, like Legos.
Yeah.
And there's no shortage of universities.
No.
I mean, as you know, my daughter is just right down the road at Mason. There's Georgetown, our alma mater, Marymount.
Yep.
Howard, GW.
Yep. George. Yeah. And you have the Brickmania store that's out in Dulles by the Air and Space Museum. So, yeah, I think that the owners of that sort of store and Legos themselves, I think that they want to answer the demand and think, okay, where's the foot traffic? Where are the tourists if they come from out of town?
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a tourist spot.
Where do they go to?
The nation's capital.
Potomac Mills, one of the biggest outlet malls on the East Coast. Tyson's Corner Mall, one of the biggest malls on the East Coast. Air and Space Museum, downtown. And the Pentagon City Mall has it. So you have all the tourist attractions around there. So yeah, I think where the foot traffic is where Lego has said this is where we need to be.
Now, if your client was to come up to you and say, "Hey, here, obviously you see my investment portfolio. I have X amount of Lego, like $10,000 worth of Lego. I want it as part of my portfolio." Would you do that, or how would you address that?
That's a great question, and I have had clients who have various art, various other personal collectibles that they wanted to have as part of their net worth statement, and my answer to that has always been, we can include it in the net worth statement if that's something you want, but if we're going to position it as what assets do I have to draw on when the time comes to actually use this money down the road, I hesitate to include a collectible or any sort of hard asset as something that can be an answer to your long-term goals or long-term expenses.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean, you manage my portfolio. Lego's nowhere in that portfolio.
Yep.
It's not on a little side tab that says, $35K or whatever.
Yep.
Lego. It's just not there.
Yeah, going back to the beginning where we have the core portfolio, and that's going to be what will eventually be the answer to yours and Jen's financial future. And the Lego set is more of let's kind of have that as sort of the collectible and hobby side of the equation. And if it ever does come where you do want to sell it and you do make a few bucks on a few of these, then great, we'll add that to the pot.
Yeah. Now, for these people that invest and sell Lego, what are the tax implications? I mean, should they LLC them, or is that correct, LLC?
You could, you could do that. However, and I need to be careful here as far as giving specific tax advice. But generally, Legos fall within the collectible category as far as how the IRS considers it, and collectibles do get taxed higher than your normal stock or mutual fund if you were to sell it. You can have a tax rate of up to 28% depending on your household income. Where, as an example, most households, if you sell a stock and pay long-term capital gains, you're hit at a 15% rate. Legos could go up to 28%. So yeah, the profit margin could be take quite a hit if your household has a certain level of income that you end up reporting.
You're watching some of these videos. I see plenty of these videos. A person has like 25 sets, or they're there in their, I guess, storage room. You just see them surrounded by it. Is it creating artificial market almost? Because Lego's like, awesome, this set sold out, in the first 2 days.
Yep.
We're backed up. And is that because it's not really reaching the hand of true consumers, it's reaching the hand of collectors and investors who are buying 10 sets, 15 sets, hoarding them? You
probably do have a certain segment of the market that's not like on purpose manipulating it, but they want to have all the eventual kind of secondary profits to themselves. Where if 1,000 sets are created or put on the market, it's possible that half of them could be obtained by someone who's like, you just want to put this in a storage unit for 5 years, take half the supply out of circulation, and that will make you more money down the road than if that 1,000 gets into the hands of someone who actually enjoys Legos, and there's more of it in circulation. And certain hobbies also, shoes, bourbon, you'll have people who want to, I think I used 1,000 earlier, but say 10,000 of something or of a set was put out there, and someone gets 5. Well, that's probably not going to make the biggest difference in future price, or kind of change the market as far as what this set may actually be worth. But if you have enough people doing that and buying 5 or 10 of them, yeah, I think that have some sort of difference. And I'm sure the true enthusiasts are try to be leery of those individuals out there.
Yeah, and I guess with that, like, okay, I bought 10 sets, you bought 10 sets. Is it really scarcity if we're all, or if there's investors out there and collectors getting 10 to 20 sets, holding them? I mean, aren't they just shifting the supply years down the road?
Well, and
to some degree, is that correct? Do you kind of get what I'm trying to say there?
Yeah, and the scarcity, and it could end up being that particular set is not something that would eventually gain a bunch of value down the road. If Lego's like, wow, we sold out of this right away. Well, to answer the demand of consumers, we need to put more out there. And after a few years, this set keeps on getting put out there. Well, there goes the scarcity. They're saturated. The market's saturated. They're everywhere, and I guess the value would appreciate as much over time. The more that they continue to put out. So yeah, I think it's more of a how quickly or how many sets does Lego actually put on the market before the set's retired than it is how many people are out there buying up 10 to 20 sets and putting them in a storage unit for 10 years.
Right. Yeah, and I told you earlier when we were talking, there isn't a Lego set that I don't get that I want. You know, if I want it, I get it. It might not be the week it comes out, the month it comes out, but I just been collecting and buying Lego so long. I know I have 3 to 4 years to get this set. So I'm like, okay, I will eventually get it.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm not worried ever about Lego selling out any sets.
And it could be, and again, I'm not up to speed on the latest and greatest in the Lego market, but I think with any hobby that has enthusiasts come in and say, how do I make money off of this? By that point, the people who have the greatest value of their sets, they've already had those sets by then. By the time all the investors come in, the sets that were going to go up the most probably have gone the most. The more people you have entering the market as wanting to invest in something, well, that just brings down in my opinion, I guess it reduces the probability of success when you have more people chasing the same amount of sets. If you have 1,000 people going after 1,000 different sets, it'll be easier to get one than if you have 5,000 people going after 1,000. So the more people coming in, it'll just make the odds of this being a great money-making venture a little bit less than it would maybe 15 years ago before you had Lego investors as a label that were on certain people.
That's something else I think about unique about Lego is that when people that it's Lego investing. You know, it's not you're not reselling Lego. You're not a reseller. You're an investor. As opposed to you hear people buying and selling comics, baseball cards, shoes. You know, the sneakerheads, but nobody calls it investing. You know, but Lego has that branding that they're investing.
They've done a good job of creating that label, and you may know more than I do. Was that Lego that created that marketing, or was that the actual investing world or collecting world of Legos that said, "Hey, we need to separate ourselves from the comic book enthusiasts or baseball card collectors"?
That's a great question. Maybe somebody in the audience and comments will know. I would say it's probably the Lego community that came up with the Lego investing. So it wouldn't surprise me if the Lego community came up with the idea that we're investing. And maybe they consider it investing too, because there's actually I believe, a lot of homework and effort that goes into researching these sets, posting them. There's several websites like BricsLink and all that have the prices and all that. So maybe that's why it feels like it's investing.
Yeah, and I think there's kind of a good and bad of that, where the good is, hey, they've found a way to kind of separate themselves and build the community around that, but also with the cool label, hey, I'm a Lego investor, it may attract more people that want to do this, and the more people that come in wanting to invest in the same or similar sets, or just Lego in general, the more people you have using this as a way to invest, reduces the probability of success. The more people that they can attract into the community. But I do like the fact that they did kind of create that label, and it's kind of a neat way to do it.
Yeah, because I mean, you brought bourbon. I also collect some bourbon. I drink it more than sell it. But yeah, no, I've never heard anyone say, "Oh, I'm investing in bourbon."
No, yeah, bourbon enthusiast, I think, is kind of the general term. But yeah, I think few of us would say that we're investing, even if there are people that have pretty solid collections that may be worth money. But I think few people would use that as their, hey, I'm an investor of alcohol.
Yeah, and maybe also because, like, I could be wrong, but people gift bourbon to one another too. They swap them. I don't know that I'm pretty sure there's no Lego swapping groups out there, where you meet up and trade sets.
You're probably not gifting your best stuff to your cousin or to your coworker.
Yeah, exactly. As opposed to, oh, hey, here's a nice bottle, Eagle Rare, because it's rare here in Virginia.
Yep.
And you give it to somebody for Christmas.
Yeah.
You're right. It seems Lego, they probably hold on to that. Like, maybe in 5 years I'll sell it to you.
If I was a Lego investor, I would be hoarding all my good stuff. And maybe if I was a Lego collector or a Lego enthusiast, I'd be giving whatever to my friends. But if I'm investing, I probably have more of a careful selection on who I'd be swapping.
Yeah. And as a financial advisor, what are some important considerations before investing your money in anything?
Okay, good question. Number one, liquidity. And liquidity is the most important factor regardless, because if this is your money that you intend to use one day, we need to make sure that you can access it when you need it. So if we have a certain dollar amount, you're like, I need this for 5 years down the road when my daughter goes to college. Okay, we need to put you in something that will be easily accessible within 5 years. If you have an emergency fund, well, we might need you need to make sure that money is available tomorrow if you need it. So liquidity is a very important factor. Number two would be, I guess, the research and time. So time commitment. So if you are starting a 401k and just putting a few bucks from every paycheck in, you probably just select a fund on your fund list, set it and forget it. Wake up in a few years, hey, my 401k is this value, it's gone up by this much, and you put no time or effort into researching. Where if you're a collectible enthusiast, where using Legos as the example, there's probably going to be a lot more time involved in researching different patterns and trends within the industry to get your, I guess, collection built to a point to where it's going to be worth more than you paid for it down the road. So I think time and liquidity are two major factors with investing. How much time outside of your job do you have for building an investment portfolio, and also when do you need this money, and is what I'm investing in going to allow me to take this out when I need it?
Oh, that's great stuff. I guess something I just thought about with the collectible, like you said, liquidity. At some point with my portfolio, I can sell off the stocks or mutual funds, or I can maybe pass it on to my child, my daughter, at some point, right?
Yep.
Through inheritance, or I guess has the what do you call it when?
Or you can just transfer the funds and say, I'm going to change the ownership and say, hey, I'm going to put this in my daughter's name now, and sign a piece of paper, and
yeah,
boom,
like it transfers. I guess with the collectible, at some point you're going to have to lay off all this stuff, right? Like if you have a room full of Lego comics, shoes, like at some point it has to hit zero, right?
Yep.
Or I guess you transfer it, maybe, like,
and
hey son, here's a room full of Lego.
Yeah, and
it's your problem.
And you kind of had to hope that it's not a burden you're now putting on your kid. Like, oh, what am I going to do with this? Who do I find to even find the secondary market to get actual money out of this? So yeah, that's a little more difficult than if you were just owning the S&P 500 or a few shares of Apple, and said, hit the button, sell it, next day, transfer it to your bank account, and hey, you have the money.
And it's funny you mentioned the word burden, because, I mean, you see my Lego collection, it's a room, and I sometimes think, like, at some point, I have to get rid of this.
There will be some sort of siphoning off of Legos at some point. Yeah,
because, like, you know, heaven forbid something happens to me, my wife would have no clue what to do with this room full.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she knows she could sell it to some, but she doesn't know enough to price point it, or would she even want the headache of dealing with, okay, he's got almost 700 sets. Is that 700 possible visits from different people to our home?
Mm-hmm. 700 different ads she has to put on eBay and track and buy the boxes and the bubble wrap to protect it during shipping. So
yes, there is some level of thought that I've started considering. Like, at some point, I do have to kind of ramp it up with my collection and start selling it off, or deciding to keep a few pieces that my daughter says she wants, you know, to keep. But yes, even just think about that's going to be a big muscle movement. Like whenever that occurs, especially for someone, I guess, that I'm not an investor, I'm a collector.
And when you do it, you may not be sure what business cycle we're in at the time. Are we in a recession where maybe you won't get top dollar for it versus if you waited 2 or 3 years? But if you don't want to wait 2 or 3 years, then that would be a potential issue where if the eventual goal is to make top dollar on these sets, or are you going to wait until you need that money, or are you going to try to time the market and say, hey, I can make a pretty penny right now if I dump off half my collection.
Yeah, that's true. Now, I know it seems like we're picking on Lego investors. I don't want it to come off that way. Because obviously there's people that have made money doing this.
A lot of respect to those people putting in the time necessary, and they should feel good about it.
Yeah, so it obviously can be fruitful and financially good for them. But another, I think, thing that's kind of cool about Lego investing is, I guess, just the talking point. You know, because maybe it's just our social circles. Like, in my office, you see the guys up there looking at the screen and, oh man, the market went down, or, you know, President tweeted what in the market? You know? As opposed to, like, Lego, it's an alternative investment, so it's not tethered to traditional markets.
You don't see the daily swings. And
there's no daily
statement every month and say, I lost $20,000 last month. Or on the other hand, you also, if the market is going up, you don't know by how much your sets are. You're kind of hoping, hey, I have these sets. I might have made a few bucks last month or last quarter, but I guess it's harder to tell day to day what your actual worth is versus a regular brokerage account where you can every minute you can see where you stand. Yeah, which I think could be good or bad if you're somebody that's checking that every day. And
like a coworker of mine, every day he's just checking it. Oh, great! oh shit.
Yep. You can drive yourself crazy if you spend too much time. But there is also something to at least knowing where you stand in your financial goals and say, I have this much money, I'm on track. It's easier to do that with your standard portfolio than it is your collection of coins or your Lego sets or baseball cards.
Yeah. And I think it also just might be a unique thing, like, oh, I invest in Lego. That gives, if you're, I don't know what the bar, I was going to say Coastal Flats or Bushel and Barrel, at the happy hour and you approach the person at the bar, hey, I invest in Lego. Oh, really?
And being in the DC metro area, we do have a lot of people you meet that want to be involved in something besides just normal stocks and bonds. You want to have some sort of some story to tell your buddies.
Yeah.
And with some people it's Legos. With some people it's some private equity investment. It could be a second home. But a lot of people in this area want to have that extra thing they can tell their buddies or their family about.
All right. So if someone wanted to get into Lego investing or investing in collectibles, how would you go about doing that? What would you tell them?
I think the most important thing would be, okay, as I said earlier, let's make sure your basic needs are covered first. We want to make sure that you have an emergency fund, that any future goals you have some sort of savings or investment plan already developed. Also, it would be important to understand the time that would be necessary. That for any sort of hobby or any sort of collectible or alternative investment, there will be time that needs to be spent to get the best product that the company or collectible has to offer. So I think those are the two things, where as long as you understand the time necessary to be good at it and have everything else covered as far as financial goals and needs. Yes, if you have a few extra bucks to spend and you want to do it on something you enjoy, that would be the conditions where I'd say, hey, have at it.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to thank you for sharing your time with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
With me. Taking your time to actually do this video.
No, absolutely.
For everyone else, be sure to like and subscribe, and see everyone next time.